Lady yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Pence, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Rush and Ranking Member Upton, for holding this hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for appearing before our committee. The bill before us today misses the mark in addressing issues facing my constituents this winter. Rental assistance helps pay the rent. It does not help pay the utility bill. Right now, families across Indiana's 6th district are paying more to heat their home, cook their meals, and drive to work. Unfortunately, H.R. 6084, as currently written, is an unworkable solution in search of a problem. Our discussions today about reliable energy distribution for electricity generation should focus on access to abundant fuel supplies at an affordable price, as both of you have mentioned today. If the majority and the Biden administration want to push the electrification of our economy, particularly our transportation economy, we would need more production of natural gas and expanded capacity of new pipelines to meet increased electricity demands. It's clear, however, that construction of new interstate natural gas pipelines under this administration could grow increasingly difficult, like Line 5 that Chairman Ranking Member Upton asked about earlier. For a state like Indiana that does not have substantial local resources of natural gas, interstate pipelines serve as an economic lifeline. Having spent my career in the energy distribution industry, I know firsthand that pipelines are the safest, most reliable form of transportation. A robust and competitive market for fuel distribution is the best way to ensure businesses and consumers have reliable access to affordable energy. Adding a regulatory regime that oversteps state and local authorities, like H.R. 6084, isn't the answer, and I'm not real sure that it clears things up and keeps things out of court. In particular, I'm concerned that this bill could expand federal authorities into intrastate pipelines that are already regulated by my Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. When I speak with local distribution companies like Southeastern Indiana Gas Company and Milan, they're not asking for federal government to layer on additional regulations. A company like Southeastern needs access to gas supplies at a competitive price so they can offer affordable services to Hoosiers in our community. When we consider our future energy outlook, I'm concerned that vulnerabilities to reliable fuel transportation could arise from a lack of supply in an overregulated market, not because FERC needed more broad and unchecked authority, personnel, or money. Chairman Glick, it appears that this administration has a singular focus on the complete electrification of our economy, from the cars we drive to the stovetops we use. As we have discussed today, if the goal is electrification, natural gas will need to play a significant role. Expanded pipeline capacity will be all but required to meet the increased electricity demands of our economy. The agenda of this administration may only deter necessary investments into new pipeline construction. Reliable financial investments into new pipelines will require certainty of a stable market and regulatory environment. However, competition between federal and state oversight authorities could cloud the regulatory future and introduce more uncertainty to potential investors. If certainty is what people need to make investments, how will a regulatory regime like that of 6084 impact the cost of constructing new interstate or intrastate pipelines to meet increasing electricity demands? And are you supportive of new natural gas pipelines?
First of all, I would say that thanks for the question, Mr. Pence. I would say that first of all, I don't think it would add any cost. This legislation being enacted would not have any impact in terms of the construction of natural gas pipelines or the cost associated with the construction of natural gas pipelines. It's really focused. This legislation and the idea is really focused primarily on.
But wouldn't you agree, a pipeline company, some of the increased regulations for cybersecurity may be additional expenses for their company?
It's
which would reduce the amount of dollars they have available for investments.
long in the short term, I think, and we've seen this on the electricity side. I think if you talk to all the money of the electricity companies, they would argue the fact that we now have mandatory reliability standards on the electricity side have actually reduced their cost because they become more reliable. They don't have to buy backup power. Sometimes they don't have to, to the extent a facility is hardened, they don't have to go out and build the facility over and over again every time a hurricane lands in their shores. And so I think actually in the long term, we're talking about a more reliable system, making sure that the actually cost to consumers go down.
Well, you and I disagree on that. I think more regulation costs more money, but I thank you for your time, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Oregon, Mr. Schrader, for 5 minutes.